Hi everyone. So lately I have been using my stash and I made a folio with 6x6 papers. Hi everyone, this is Debbie from Project 39 Mini Albums. As part of my paper stash smash, one of my goals is to use things in my stash. So for May, the criteria for this collab is to use 6x6 papers. Now, here's the secret. This is not using 6x6 papers, but I am using the same tutorial that I did use 6x6 papers with. I made this cute little folio out of scraps of my stash. I had picked up some, maybe 5 or 6 different sheets from an Simple Stories collection called Here and There. And I didn't have very much left, so I wanted to use it up. And I thought, you know what, let me use that folio that I made the tutorial on. So let me just take you through some of the design elements, and then at the end I'll tell you all about the tutorial. So for the front cover, I cut paper, and the square that the paper's in is 6x6. The folio is 6 1/4 by 6 1/4. I had some flowers that actually matched the collection in my stash and used that. I didn't have enough paper at the end to cover this, so I did just piece together some. And then there were these, they weren't actually cut aparts, it was just sort of rows of different, sort of like vacation posters. And I cut a couple and put them here on the front. I added some seam binding underneath this paper, but on top of the craft colored cardstock that I used for the base. Now, so this page is a flap and a flap on the bottom. So this flap has a little flower. It's open, so you still could put a little photo here or just use it as a design, but then there is room to put a photo. And then this is just cut from one of the cut aparts. It says travel notes. So again, that comes down. And this was a cut apart. I just fussy cut around and glued it down on the bottom and added a couple of pieces of ephemera and a cut apart. I'll put that there. And then here's a little paper clip with just a little bit of seam binding just to sort of break up all of the paper. So there is page 1. There's only 4 pages in here. I'll go this way. So page 2 has this rounded element, and I tell you how to make that in my tutorial. So here's that paper that's got all the different, looks like vacation posters. This makes one big pocket, and inside the pocket is more of that vacation poster paper. Here's the flower paper on the back, but photos could go on both sides of this. So that goes down like that. There's also room in here for some ephemera, like if you had tickets or brochures or napkins from a restaurant, that would be cute in there. This is a 4x6 cut apart. This page is actually bigger than 4 inches, but just to make it cohesive, I took the same paper that I put here and put on that side. And this sort of brings all the colors together with that one cut apart. I used a magnet to close this and a magnet to close that too. I've made other folios using this same tutorial, and I didn't use magnets and everything, so check that out. So over here, I just fussy cut that out of some part of the collection, and then there were these little strips that came from, it was a bigger than 4x4 cut aparts, and I just thought it would be cute to put maybe places you've gone or places you want to go on there, or just, remember the time, or we went to the Eiffel Tower on Tuesday, and we went for a walk on Wednesday, that kind of thing. So that goes in there. I made a pocket using one of those little poster things. I made just a cheater little pocket using a 4x6 cut apart. I had this cut apart left over, and so I thought that would be cute on there. I just had some coordinating cardstock and one of the flowers there, and there's the back of that. And here is just one of the cut aparts. Now on this page, I do have a belly band. I put all the rest of the cut aparts, everything I had left from the collection that was sizable in this belly band. On the belly band I put one of the flowers that coordinated, and fussy cut this little camera out just to keep it travel themed. So there's cut apart, so is there, and there's a 4x4 cut apart. So that all goes into here, and that's a good spot to put photos as well. And plus you can put photos in that pocket. And then on the final page, here's a smaller page. I think it's about 4 inches, maybe 4 1/4, or 4 1/8 actually. I broke up this piece just because I didn't have one piece big enough, and I used just a piece of paper just to break it apart. And there's another piece. In the pocket is a telegram, and again you could put some photos in here because the pocket is again 4 1/8. So there were these 2x2 cut aparts, and I just sort of made a couple of flaps with some magnets inside, just to break up that page, and I glued it just on 3 sides so you can add things in the top. There's a 5-star rating and room to journal on there, so they both go in there. Okay, and then here on the back of that I used a cut apart for a pocket, put another little cut apart in there, and on the back is just a photo mat with some of the flowers to break it up. I did have this little thing on the back of the folio here just to break everything up in the back, and if you wanted to use it somewhere in the book you can. And then that brings us back to the front to our seam binding closure. I mean, isn't it cute? It's good for maybe a weekend trip. You wouldn't want to do a 10-day trip in here, but just a cute little folio to add some pictures to. And it was a fabulous way of using all the rest of the paper I had in my stash from this Here and There collection. So there are other examples of using this 6 1/4 by 6 1/4 folio on my channel. There is a tutorial, I'll list it in the description box. So go check it all out, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope that encourages you to take paper from your stash. So even if you don't have 6x6 paper, you can make a folio that's just a little bigger, 6 1/4 by 6 1/4, or take your 6x6 paper pads and use them up. That's what I have to show you today. Thank you so much for watching, and have a fabulous day.